Good morning and welcome to Carnivore Shiloh. I changed my channel name to Carnivore Shiloh to represent or reflect more of who I am instead of Carnivore 501 as a pair of jeans I'd like to fit into, because I think I've already fit into those jeans and I have other goals. So I'm Carnivore Shiloh. I kind of wrote some points that I'd like to go over. It's been a couple of weeks since I've posted anything. I am currently going to school for a fitness trainer certification, and so I've been hyper focused on just schoolwork. I've gotten a nutrition certification prior to that, actually, right before I went into the fitness trainer certification. And I'm going to share with you guys some of the stuff that I learned about that shortly. So, as far as anybody new to the channel, my name is Shiloh. I did like 4 months of keto, and then I switched over, so I've been about carnivore about 2 months, and in the total of 6 months, I've lost 40 pounds. I tried paleo in the past, but I didn't lose any weight. So I think for people who are pretty healthy and don't have a lot of weight to lose, paleo might be a good option for people because it has more variety, and keto is good for people who are diabetic, and carnivore is good for people who are also diabetic, but also it's a lot of people with autoimmune diseases and things like that. One of the things that I had issues with, and I didn't know until I went on to carnivore, was that I had problems with wheat. I had been coughing for about 10 years, and the doctors basically told me, you have a chronic cough that won't go away, and there's nothing we can do for you. And all these years I had been coughing, which takes a lot out of you. I mean, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and cough. I'd wake up in the morning and cough a lot. My nose was always stuffed, and I was always having to blow my nose. And they never gave me an allergy test. They gave me x-rays to make sure I didn't have lung cancer. They made sure I didn't have acid reflux. They made sure that I didn't have bronchitis or any other thing like that. But I just kept coughing, and they kept telling me there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, yes, there is. So eventually I stopped going to the doctor because I was like, what's the point? And when I got into keto, at first I was doing dirty keto. So with that, I was still eating stuff that was net carbs, stuff that still had wheat in it, and I didn't realize that that was a problem or was causing my problems. And then I went clean keto, which is when I stopped eating anything wheat. No 3 net carb tortillas, no low carb bread, none of that. And I stopped coughing. And then later down the line, I had gotten a allergy test. I am allergic to wheat, and I've even tried gluten-free stuff, and it doesn't matter if it's gluten-free, I still have a reaction. So I don't know if it's definitely not the gluten, it's something else in it. But it does cause reactions. I can breathe, I can go walking I can walk 10 miles and I'm great, where before it was like I'd walk a couple miles and I'd be like, and I was always in my sleep like gurgling, and it was pretty bad. And they basically tell you that there's nothing you can do. Like if you have COPD, it's just going to get worse as you get older, and then that's not true. If they were doing their jobs, they would find out the source, the cause, instead of trying to give you pills, which all they did was give me an inhaler that did absolutely nothing. So I stopped using the inhaler because I was like, I'm spending money on something that does absolutely nothing. So that was frustrating. But I'm going to go over some of the things that I've achieved. Of course, 40 pounds lost is one of the things that I've achieved. And my skin is actually, this month has been getting a lot smoother. My pores are cleaner. It's just, my skin looks better. And my varicose veins are starting to fade away, which I never had varicose veins until I had my son. I got them when I was pregnant, and then they never went away. And they're starting to fade. They're getting lighter and lighter. And so that's the thing that I've noticed that is a non-scale victory. Now I got a new scale. It's a smart scale. And so on my old scale, I went from 250 to 210. But then I got my new scale, and it says I weigh 218. So to make up the difference for that, I'm going to adjust my starting weight to 258 because my new scale says I'm 8 pounds heavier than my old scale. So I know that I didn't gain 8 pounds because one scale says 210 and the other one says 218. But the reason I got this scale is because it tells you your body fat percentage, your bone density, your skeletal muscle, your total lean mass, and it tells you your visceral fat, your subcutaneous fat. And I think that is it even tells you your water percentage. So that tells you a more accurate, gives you a more accurate view of what's really in your body and what your weight is. Because I could drink a couple bottles of water and then go weigh myself and be like, oh my God, I gained 2 pounds. But if I weigh myself on this scale, it will tell me that 2 pounds is water. So I won't be like, oh my God, I gained fat. It's a more accurate, and it gives you a better picture of what's going on. Now in that, when I first started, I did step on a scale at a gym that I don't live in that area anymore, so that gym is far away. But when I first started, I was at 58% body fat, and according to this scale, I am at 53% body fat. So I've lost a percentage of body fat, which is good. But I'm still very over on my body fat weight. I think I have like 102 pounds of body fat on my body right now, which is a lot. I'd like to get down to between 20 and 22% body fat. I think would be ideal. However, the good news with this thing, it tells you your bone density. My bone density is excellent, and my skeletal muscle is excellent. My body mass, my lean body mass, is actually over, which basically means that underneath all the extra fat that I'm carrying on my body, I'm actually pretty fucking jacked. Because I'm like extremely dense as far as my muscles, my bones, and my lean body mass. So really, I'm going to keep obviously lifting weights and working out, and I'm going to challenge myself in that area. And I'm going to, once I get my certification, I'm going to be posting those things on my channel so that other people, even if you're not paleo, I mean, like, I'm on Carnivore, and it's the healthiest for me because I have a whole long list of fruits and vegetables that I'm allergic to from the allergy test. Things like spinach, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, like all these different vegetables that are supposed to be really healthy for you, and a lot of fruits, pineapple, coconut, grapefruit, like all this stuff that's supposed to be really, really good for you is not good for me. There are people who maybe don't have the same allergens or intolerances, and they can handle that stuff, and that's okay. I can't have cow dairy, but I can have goat dairy. I haven't tried any yet. I've had feta before. I might try that again, but I might see what variations of goat dairy I can try. But there, with all that stuff, and I know that I feel better not eating that stuff. Once I get down to my weight where I'm in maintenance, I might go ketovore and add some vegetables that I know I'm not allergic to that are low glycemic, and see how my body reacts. And if I'm okay and I don't, start gaining weight or start having health problems, I might add that in. But as far as like my workout videos, anybody is welcome to do those videos, even if they don't agree with my way of eating. That's okay. You don't have to. It is a free country, and I'm glad that, if somebody wants to be a vegetarian, or somebody wants to eat Whole30, or somebody wants to eat the South Beach, or whatever they choose, it's their choice. Just like this is my choice, and a lot of people don't agree with it, but I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I learned in my nutrition class. So, let's see, where can I go with that? Let's see. Okay, so what I learned most of the chapters that went over vitamins and minerals and nutrients, they listed different vitamins. They listed the deficiencies, like different diseases that are caused by deficiencies or symptoms. They also went over like toxicity. So like if you get a huge amount, and most of the time it's the fat soluble vitamins, because if you have fat, your body will store that in your fat, so you can get toxicity that way. But a lot of your vitamins you pee out. I think it's A, D, E, and K that are fat soluble, and those are the ones that sometimes if you take too much of, you can get toxicity. But most of the sources that it listed, the very top, every time it went over a vitamin, it would have the primary source of that vitamin was always meats. It was always like, beef, poultry, dairy, stuff like that. And then it would say, and fortified cereal. So it would always put fortified cereal in with the meats. Like, yeah, it has those vitamins, but that's fortified and it's grains. And then down lower, it would say, these vitamins are also in these fruits and vegetables in lower amounts and they're less bioavailable. So the most nutritious, and it's every vitamin over and over and over again, the most nutritious, most nutrient dense foods are meat, and the most bioavailable is meat. And the weird thing about that is that you always hear, oh, you have to get all your vitamins and nutrients from vegetables. If you don't eat vegetables, you're not going to have that nutrition. The whole time, all of this nutrition has been in meat. But they tell you that meat is bad. And then I also learned that vitamin C, the main role of vitamin C in your body is to produce collagen. You use vitamin C in the production of collagen, and that the lack of collagen is what causes scurvy. So, Alia Wells, she went nuts when I posted that on her site. So, because I guess she's always getting bothered by scurvy, people talking about scurvy. But anyways, the main cause is a lack of collagen, and if you're eating meat, you're getting collagen. So you don't need as much vitamin C because the vitamin C is used to create collagen, where if you're eating it, you're getting it that way. So that's why people who are on the carnivore diet don't need a whole lot of vitamin C. So that's out of the way. Now, oh yeah, so one of the things in my nutrition classes, they went from point A to point B, but point A doesn't match with point B. So they go over all these vitamins and where you can get them nutritionally and things like that. And then the next section, they go over what they recommend you eating. And it was all high carbohydrates and vegetables and plant foods. I don't know how they went from meat being the most nutrient dense to the healthiest diet is cereals and grains and vegetables. So once they tell you where all the nutrition is, which is all in the meats, then they come over to this other chapter and say that the healthiest diet is high carbohydrate. And I'm like, what? And then the instructor herself says that she is a vegetarian. Her and her family are vegetarians because it is the healthiest diet. And I'm thinking, okay, did you not read the previous chapters? What? Like, what? Okay, so anyways, I'm not knocking vegetarianism. I tried it when I was younger. I stopped, honestly, because I worked with a girl that was vegetarian for a long time. Her hair was falling out. She was cray-cray. And I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that. So, in my mind back then, I thought it was healthy. And I didn't do it for a huge amount of time. And I couldn't stick to it because everybody I'd ever been with is like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not eating vegetarian, So, and even now, like, I think it's good that I'm carnivore, but it's easier to eat carnivore, even though, like, my brother's not carnivore. It's easier than trying to, I don't know, there's a difference. It's like for some reason it's easier for me to be a carnivore even though people in my family are not carnivore, where if I was trying to be a vegetarian and other people are eating meat in front of me and other things, that it's like I want that, it's like kind of natural, I guess. um so I'm gonna have to go into, let's see. Okay, I'm going to go verbatim now. So, in the nutrition course that I took, and I got my certification, I passed, I answered the questions the way they wanted me to. It said that cholesterol is not as problematic as it was once thought to be. However, it is still recommended to keep cholesterol levels low. They don't give a reason, they're still brainwashed in that mentality, so they're saying, well, it's not as problematic as we once thought, but it's like, doesn't matter what the evidence says. This is what you need to do because this is what the narrative we're pressing. So I am currently registered in a course. It's NASM to get my fitness trainer certification. And so in this course, and this is, they tout that they are scientific, they're accredited, it's backed by science. Okay. So in this class, it states, and this is verbatim in the course material, it says the U.S. Dietary Guidelines for Americans no longer specifies any limitations on dietary cholesterol intake because there is no direct correlation between heart disease and dietary cholesterol intake. And that's verbatim from the course. And then there's this other area, it says saturated fats were previously considered to be artery clogging fats and harmful for heart health. However, recent research has shown that moderate amounts of saturated fat intake may not carry a substantial risk. Of course, they use the word moderate, but basically it's not as harmful as they were making it out before. I have not been posting videos much recently, like I said, because I've been hyper-focused on school. And I am going to be moving where I'm at. I'm currently laid off, and then my brother got laid off this week. And in this town, it's a rural area. There's not a lot of jobs, and most of the jobs are RV factories, and they're all laying off. So looking for jobs, most of the jobs that we've been able to see that are hiring are all like an hour away. And so we are actually in the process, we're going to be moving starting tomorrow. So I got to get boxes today and start packing some things up, but we're going to be moving. We found an apartment, 2 bedrooms for $850, which in this area is unreal. Like, oh my God. So we're jumping on that. Most of the apartments that have been for rent, we've been having like a 2-year waiting list, and then they want like $1,200 to $1,500. And so this one is available, but it's above a grocery store. So most people don't even realize it, because I was walking around town, in this town that we're moving to, and I seen a mailbox and it said vacant. It had a vacant sticker on it. Because there was mail in it and somebody put a vacant sticker on it, and I was like, Corey, look. And he was like, oh, yeah. And so as we noticed that one of the people who lived in those apartments were coming up into the area to go up the stairs to go to his apartment, and I said, hey, do you know if this apartment is for rent? And he's like, I think it is. And I was like, can you give me the number to the landlord? Because there was no sign saying for rent or anything, no ads. And so we called the landlord's number, and he said yeah, and he told us how much. And then so we're paying our deposit, and they're prorating us 2 weeks because we're moving in the middle of the month. So deposit plus 2 weeks, and then we'll pay on the full first month rent. But I'm really excited about that because, and my brother has a job interview today in that town, and then hopefully within the next couple of days I'll be getting some interviews, so we'll be able to have work. And the town it's a small town. I can drive a half an hour in any direction and find a job or work. And then in the downtown area, I can walk everywhere. I can walk to the grocery store. I can walk to the laundromat if I really needed to. There's a lot of places just all over, like within just walking distance. I can walk everywhere I need. Even if I got a job in the same town, which I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I can walk to work. So that's really cool. And there's this big, huge, long staircase, which I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to move, but walking up them stairs is going to be exercise for me. So I'm going to grab my weights and I'm going to be walking up the stairs with my weights. And one of the things that I've learned with my fitness class is that you don't always have to do crunches to build muscle in your abs. Carrying weights, and then doing like a briefcase thing where you carry a heavy weight on one side and you walk for a while, or climb stairs, or even do like squats or deadlifts with just like either a kettlebell or a heavy weight on one hand, and then after you do so many, switch hands and do it on there, is working all your different ab muscles. Even when you're doing pull-ups and things like that, you're working your ab muscles, so you don't necessarily have to get on the floor and do crunches. I have a lot of really strong arm muscles and leg muscles. My abs are the weakest part of my body, and so for me, doing crunches is torture. But the other day, I did do, because I'm doing a rotation instead of the bro split, like, you know, I had learned all throughout time, and doing isolated workouts. I'm learning that compounds are more efficient because you're working your whole body all at once. And then on top of it, I don't have to do crunches to gain muscle strength, because the main purpose of your abs is to stabilize your body. So if you're lifting weights on one side or the other side or both, you're stabilizing your body. And whenever you're doing these compound movements, you're using your abs to stabilize your body, and you're building abs without having to lay on the ground and do crunches. And I'm like, yes, because I hate crunches. So I'm really excited about that. And I've also been learning about other types of exercises that I really didn't know existed that I want to try. Some I'm not strong enough for yet, but eventually I will get there. I think animal flow is one that I want to try, but I have most of my body weight, fat-wise, is on my legs, my hips, my thighs, my butt. And I'm only 5 foot tall, so I have short legs. So my body fat is in my way, and it limits my movement ability. So the more fat I lose, then the more I'll be able to do some of these more challenging exercises. But I am excited about it. But I am doing where I'm doing weight training one day, and then the next day I'm resting, and then the next day I'm doing cardio, like walking, or if it's raining, like today it's raining, getting on the treadmill or getting on an elliptical. I do want to get a rebounder eventually, so that would be a nice cardio boost there. But at this point in time, I think that's what I'm going to do, is a 3-day rotation of weight training, rest, cardio, weight training, rest, cardio, because it's like I already have quite a bit of muscle, which is good, but I still need to keep increasing my weights and bodybuilding in a way, because the more fat I lose, the reason why I have a lot of muscle is because I'm carrying around a lot of weight. And as I lose that weight, my muscle might actually go down, because it's not going to be carrying all that fat. So it's not going to be working as hard. So I'm going to have to make sure that I increase my weights and do weight training in order to keep the muscle mass that I have, to keep it from going down. Because it's the more fat I lose, the less my muscles are going to have to work to carry all of that, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I have been learning a lot, and I'm probably rambling. I don't know how many people are still watching, but yeah. So I think that's basically where I'm at, and I don't have anything left on my points to talk about. I mean, basically it's just what I'm learning, and it's not contradicted by the carnivore diet. A little bit of it is just them trying to say, oh, you need all these carbohydrates, because your body can convert the fat and the protein into carbohydrates. Like your body, that's what ketone bodies are. and your body can turn protein into glycogen and use that to create ATP for your muscles and for your energy. So you don't have to have carbohydrates, even though the nutrition classes say you do. That's not necessarily the case, because I mean, I'm reading in this stuff and I'm reading all the stuff, but then it's like they tell you the correct information, and then in the further chapters, then they change it up, and it's like their conclusion doesn't match the evidence, and I can't figure out why. But I do know that I'm doing the best diet for my body and for what, you know, my nutrition needs and what my allergies are and everything else, and I know how I feel versus how I felt when I was what I would consider 258. Now that I've had to adjust for the new scale, my back hurt pretty bad, and you know, I'd run out of breath doing things that I shouldn't run out of breath doing. And when I would go to scoop my cat litter, it would hurt. Like, it would hurt to scoop cat litter. It would be really hard to tie my shoes or wipe my butt when I went to the bathroom. I mean, I did it, but it was very hard. And you know, you're gonna have to maneuver your body in weird ways just to wipe. And so yeah, I feel a lot better. I'm moving a lot more, and a lot of that is you have to I don't know how to describe it. It's you have to lose the weight before you can become active. Because if you try to be active when you're heavy, it's hard. And that's one of the reasons why I'm getting the certification, is because I had bad fitness trainers, and they just tried to, like, they have that no pain, no gain mentality, and they try to make you do stuff that you can't do, and then you have inflammation, your body hurts, you don't heal, you gain weight, your cortisol levels go up, and you feel like crap. And if you change your diet first, and then once you start getting healthier, you can start moving more and building, but it has to be gradual. Now, some people can jump right into it, but I can't. I think that the gradual approach has worked for me, and I've gotten stronger and stronger. And a lot of people say, oh, you have to, you know, lift weights to failure in order to gain muscle. No, you don't. You lift weights in a controlled and slow manner, and then when that becomes easy, you increase your weights, and you gradually increase your weights. But you always do it to where it's slow and controlled, and if you do it to failure, you have a higher risk of injuring yourself because you're not using correct form, you're not doing it correctly. So I don't agree with that mentality. I think if you can do it comfortably and you're not crazy sore where the next day you can't move or you can't sit down and go to the bathroom, that's crazy. The whole point of building muscle, not like looking roided out, but building muscle is to have better mobility, to have, you know, stronger bones, to be healthy. And if you're not healthy, if you're hurting and you're inflamed and you're damaging your body, that's not getting you to be healthy. It's not healthy. It might be, you know, something that, you know, the gym bros do to get, you know, super roided out looking, fine, whatever. But to be healthy, it's got to be gradual. And actually, there is one guy, because I've been trying to follow a lot of different fitness people. There's this guy, I think he's called Wild Man, but he uses a bat, and he's more of like a physical therapist, and he recommends where you increase your weight for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then 1 week you go down just a little bit, and then you gradually go up, and then you go down a little bit 1 week, and then you gradually go up. And so it's kind of interesting how he has that figured out, and he has like a whole system and a whole plan. I'm not really doing his plan, but I do agree with like he goes over different motions and ranges of motions and things that really make a lot of sense as far as health, and he teaches you healthy ways of moving. And so I want to learn as much of that type of stuff, healthy ways of moving, that I can, so that I can help people to become healthy. I'm not trying to help people be jacked out. If that's what you want to do, if you want to be like super roided out looking, You can go follow those people, that's fine. But if you're just, you know, a carnivore, or you're just, you know, an middle-aged person like myself, or an overweight person that wants to get in shape but wants to do it in a healthy way and gradually, um, even if it's just the exercise portion, definitely follow me because I'm doing it gradual. You know, I started out with 5 pounds, and then I went up to 8 pounds, and now I'm on 10. But when I go to the gym, I lift even more. Like, it depends on what I'm doing. But dumbbells and weight machines are a little bit different. So, like, I can lift more on a machine, but I'm kind of getting away from the machines, and I'm really like working out at home. So, for the most part, I'm going to be lifting weights. I'm going to be getting some kettlebells and heavier weights. I'd like to work my way up to 35 pounds. I don't think I'm going to go any higher than that, but I would like to get a couple of 35-pound dumbbells in the end. That's my end game goal. But, you know, like some people might want to go up to 50 pounds, especially if they're a man, or more. But it should be gradual, and it should be where you can do your exercises slow and controlled. If you're doing like this, you're using momentum, or you're going like this, you're gonna damage yourself. So be safe out there, and I will maybe next week, or maybe in a couple of weeks, update once I've moved. I have a big huge area that I can work out in, plus I have a flight of stairs that I can go up and down. So my workouts will be uploading, or I'm going to be starting to upload my workouts as soon as I get my certification. All right, you guys have a good day.